All right, time for something heavy on this Tuesday morning. Peter Kadges of the Boston Phoenix, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates, they're the heavy hitters. Let's start with this gentleman, Supreme Court, hearing arguably the most important case they've heard in 20 years, ObamaCare and its constitutionality. Argument started yesterday. What have we learned so far, Peter?
Well, what we've learned is that this case is going to revolve around, I think, one fact or one question. Is the mandate that people have to have insurance and pay a penalty, is it a tax or isn't it a tax? If it looks like a tax, is it a tax? That's what the Wall Street Journal said. That's what all of this is going to come down to.
Yeah, not a slam dunk, however, that the conservative-leaning court knocks this thing down. I think the Solicitor General, the administration is looking at either the Chief Justice or Justice Alito, Kennedy, or even Scalia, a number of which have embraced in different cases the role of the federal government in regulating interstate commerce. They may be able to pick off one or more of those justices over to their side and have this thing upheld. So I don't think it's a slam dunk at all. One last thing. In terms of principles here and ideology, it is in some ways a conservative principle, the individual mandate as individual responsibility. When it used to be ObamaCare, that's one of the principles it was founded on.
You thought Roberts' line of questioning was interesting yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Roberts and Alito, both the questions they asked suggested that they might not be the right-wing nuts that they usually are.
On the other hand, we learned from the Mattapan verdict last week that trying to read into what a jury's asking about can sometimes get you into trouble and lead you down the wrong path.
True.
Who knows? Next issue is, speaking of the president, you guys, like everybody else, heard yesterday, he got caught off mic talking to Andrei Medvedev of Russia, telling him to pass a message on to Putin for him. Apparently they don't have that red phone anymore where you can just pick it up and tell him yourself. And in it he says that after the election, he will be more flexible when it comes to missile defense. Any problem here, Cosmo?
Look, no real governing of any substance can happen during an election cycle if the candidates can avoid it, and I think, including the president. I think that's what's going on here. He's telling the reality, look, I need to put a certain type of face on during this campaign. You got to give me some space. And the guy said, yes, space for you, space for comrade. So
well, if that's true, Peter, why did Eric Fernstrom take so much crap when he said Romney was an Etch-a-Sketch guy?
Hey, listen, I think Eric Fernstrom got a raw deal on this. There's plenty to criticize Romney about, and there's plenty to criticize Fernstrom about. But what Fernstrom said was fine. And what Obama said is fine. It makes a lot of sense.
What they said was the obvious, but sometimes you get caught stating the obvious and like, hey, you know what? You're not supposed to say that out loud. I think that's what's going on.
Your two's ability to give people a pass for being two-faced is shocking to me. It's unbelievable. How about some accountability, gentlemen? Tell the guy what you think and stand by it. Rick Santorum did that the other day, getting caught dropping a little BS on Mike. Didn't get caught, did it intentionally. What was your reaction to that, Peter?
I'd say good for him. Listen, Santorum is a knucklehead as far as I'm concerned. But the press has been extremely unfair to him in trying to claim that he's being anti-Romney, when clearly he's being anti-Romney in connection with what we call RomneyCare here in Massachusetts. It's a ham-fisted tactic that the press has taken. And like I said, you know, Santorum's no genius. There's plenty to call him on, but he was right to say that.
On the other hand, I hope he went to confession to confess for that swear word there, Cosmo.
Yeah, when you're on the far right, like Santorum, never can go wrong by calling the New York Times out on BS or saying phooey on you or whatever it may be. and I think that's what he did there. And you know what? It's refreshing to see someone, you know, let his hair down a bit and say what maybe some people have on their mind.
And then he said he would be willing to be Romney's vice president.
Oh, the height of hypocrisy.
Now we get somewhere. We finally get somewhere, and we're out of time.
The height of hypocrisy.
Phoenix, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill Associates. They have hitters. In the meantime, Shannon, back to you.